Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today we are jumping into some fashion. I wanted to cover what are going to be the top 10 hottest trends for spring summer of 2022. You guys know that I always do these trend finders for you. I start looking into what is going to be in just because I feel like it's a good kind of starting point for us to look through our wardrobe, see if there's anything that looks similar to what's going to be in, or also for us to kind of just have an idea when we go shopping or we go to buy the next outfit, what are the things that we can kind of keep our eyes out for that might make us just look just a little bit more on trend. Now, nowadays trends are not really that important anymore. I feel like everybody has kind of gotten over trends, but there is always these distinct little details that you start seeing pop up everywhere, and then you just end up buying them. So even though you're not into a trend, you still end up doing the trends. So I want to share with you guys the top 10 trends that I spotted on the spring of 2022 runways that I think are going to be so in for the upcoming season. So if you guys are excited, if you love fashion and makeup, this is the channel for you. Don't forget to go ahead and hit subscribe. I also love to tell you guys that based off of these trends, we also see things roll into the beauty space. We'll see color trends. We'll kind of start getting ideas of maybe outfits and what kind of palettes could be coming out. So I do love to cross between the two worlds and really see what is next, what is going to be the next big thing. So let's go ahead, let's break it down. I've got 10 trends for you guys, and some of you guys might not be too excited. Some of you may, but some of you may not. So let's jump into it right now. All right, guys, so number one, top trend, and this is one that I think is going to be huge. Like, I really think that this is going to be a predominant trend that you're going to start seeing going into spring and also summer, is bold colors. So there was an introduction to bold colors coming in the fall. We kind of saw that idea that bold colors were going to be the thing. But I think that spring, summer is going to be a huge emphasis on bold colors. The Christian Siriano runways kind of showed you ways to introduce bold color, whether it be a beautiful orangey looking dress that's just very, very vibrant, or mixing colors with something a little bit more dull. So you can have like a black top with an orange pair of pants. I also saw examples of super bright like suiting with very neutral bottoms and just adding that little bit of pop of color. So I know that this may not be a trend that everybody will love, and I understand that because bold colors can be a little intimidating. But something that I want to tell you guys, which I think is a fun way for you guys to incorporate bold color, and it's something that's also very on trend, is accessories. So jumping into neons or pops of colors, you can do that with a beautiful pop of color handbag. Wearing a very basic outfit and just putting that pop of color in your hand. You can do the same thing for sunglasses, maybe a neon green pair of sunglasses with a more basic outfit. These ways you're introducing color to your wardrobe without having to actually make it your wardrobe. I also saw an awesome example of adding very vibrant gloves. So if you live somewhere where it's very cold right now, you can have your neutral outfit on with vibrant gloves, maybe neon orange or red or something fun like that. Coming season, there's going to be a lot of color. So it's going to be colorful tops, colorful bottoms, colorful accessories, and we're talking about pretty bright colors. Also, if you're a makeup lover, maybe you can pull out some of your colorful makeup and make the accentuation be your eyes. Have fun with a pop of color on your lids. But in contrast to that one, I do want to also include in bold colors is basic white. So you're going to see a lot of white as well. So we saw that on like the Rodarte runways, a lot of white basic outfits, white dresses dominated. So even though bold colors are going to be in, that very simplified plain white silhouette that I think everybody loves for spring and summer is going to be very strong. So maybe if you're getting married now, you're probably going to have a lot of options for your bridal showers and stuff, because it seems like white is going to be a huge hit, especially when it comes to dresses. So I actually love that trend because I love white. I love white dresses, have so many of them. So I'm happy that white is in. Not a huge bold color girl, but I can like kind of play with the accessories, so I'm excited about that part, especially a bag. I think I want to buy like a super bright hand. All right, so number two is gonna be one that I know a lot of you guys may scream at the camera right now, and I get it. I get it. Bra tops are here to stay. Okay, so if you thought The moment of the bra top was gone, or the crop top was over. I'm so sorry. It is not. But it seems to me like the bra tops are turning more into bras or like bikini looking tops. So you're talking about more of your standard lingerie looking bra being exposed underneath like blazers, usually oversized blazers. But this is a trend we kind of started seeing in the fall. I actually have done this trend as well, and I started getting a little bit more comfortable with it just recently, especially when you're wearing like an oversized blazer on top. But it is a little bit more difficult to pull off. Christian Siriano did show a beautiful way of wearing kind of like a bralette type of top with these really high-waisted pants with the bra top. Also on Christian Siriano's runway, we actually saw a bra top dress, which was interesting how they can incorporate the two, but it literally was like a bikini top with an overflowing bottom, which I think is going to be something that we are going to be seeing. And you know, if we saw it on Zimmerman, which this is not really a bralette or a bra, but it is very, very small, and it's literally almost like a bra. So we're talking about very, very, very small, minimal pieces of clothing on the top, and the more it looks like a bra, the more in it probably is. There's also an ode to being a little bit more nude that we saw on Christian Siriano's runway show when he introduced kind of like this underwear underneath a completely see-through dress. I saw a lot of these examples, kind of like your underwear being more like your clothing, and then you just having something sheer on top. Parts of this I like, parts of it I don't. I don't mind the bra tops. I'm a little bit more skeptical of wearing them with high-waisted pants. Just some of them just look a little bit too much for my taste. But I do kind of like the see-through trend. I just don't really like it on the top. I like it when they put like shorts on the bottom and you can see through it, but I'm not so into like the whole exposed lingerie vibe. But this is gonna be kind of like a huge trend, so if you wanted to try wearing the bra top with the oversized blazer, you might want to try it for spring of 2022. All right, this one a lot of you guys are gonna get mad at too, I think. Number 3 is Y2K. Y2K, what does this mean? This means the 2000s. So think Paris Hilton, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. Think of that time. I think Paris Hilton is the one that comes to mind the most in this era. I think she really basically created a lot of the trends that we're in with the simple life. This is the Y2K reminiscing era. Like they are literally looking back to that time and recreating a lot of the looks. So you're going to be seeing butterfly tops, which I saw this and I said, no way. Think Mariah Carey, where she used to wear those butterfly tops. I actually saw one on Zimmerman that they were actually recreating kind of like that idea that it was like a butterfly top. And when I saw this, I almost died because I remember owning like the sequin ones that used to be in. Ooh, yes, with the very low jeans. So just get ready. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that. We're also going to be seeing a lot of low rise pants. So you guys can see it here on Tory Burch. Tory Burch, which is not a very, I guess, brand that you would say is super trendy. You could see their pant lines are going down. You are seeing a lot more of the stomach region. Everything is starting to become a little bit more low rise. So if you're going for jeans, I would say maybe start getting into mid or low rise. If you want to be on trend, low rise is more on trend, like coming, which I don't know if I'm happy or sad. I don't mind low rise. Just depends on how low. I like mid rise the best. But, you know, I guess I can get on board. I guess I can get on board with some low-rise pants. We also saw it in Miu Miu, which showed us the introduction of shorter, kind of like mini skirts, very low-rise. This is very simplified Paris Hilton. Like this reminds me so much of like the Paris Hilton times, guys. You're seeing on Chanel more of like the cropped blazer with the shorter hemlines. Like this is a Y2K ode to Y2K. Another huge trend, and this is one that I think is going to be very mainstream, and this is one that can also go into the bold color trend, is cardigans. So this is also part of Y2K. Think of those one button cardigans that we used to all wear in a bunch of different colors. I think it was like Friends inspired. Friends used to do it a lot, but around that time everybody used to have like those kind of cardigans. I think cardigans are coming back. We're probably going to start seeing them a lot. So yeah, Y2K is here to stay. You might want to start Googling what we used to wear back in the day and kind of like refresh in your memory, because it seems like we might start seeing a lot of influencers and fashion bloggers and all those alike showing us some Y2K again. Number 4 is fringe. And I say fringe, I think every season. I think that the designers really want fringe to happen, but it just never really translates 100%. But it looks like brands like Rodarte are really into like this fringe. Like if you see this beautiful fringe dress, everything is like fringed out. This isn't like cowboy fringe. This is more like strategically placed fringe. Chloe did it, that on their like kind of crop top, you have this like fringe netting coming all the way down. And then also if you look at the skirt also has fringe on the bottom. You're also seeing a very white silhouette, which is also very on trend. But you can kind of see even from Chloe, this is a little bit more of like that resort wear, but you see like the fringe coming down over like the skirt. So everything has to do a little bit fringy, but it's not like your, motorcycle jacket fringe or your like cowboy fringe. This is more like strategic fringe, a little bit of like hanging, dropping fabric in different places to kind of create this fringe look. I don't mind this kind of fringe. This is something they talked about in fall of 2022 that we started seeing a little bit. We started seeing a little bit in outerwear, a little fringe going on like around the outerwear that you would see like a lot of like pieces of fabric hanging everywhere. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. Not a huge fringe girl, but I want to see if it goes more in the direction of like what Chloe was doing. I think I could probably get on board. All right, so this one is a trend that I know that I'm going to despise. So number 5 is volume and rouging on dresses. I really hate volume on dresses. I don't know if it's because I have a little bit more of a Latin figure, like I'm skinny, but I have hips, that anytime like I wear these type of like poofy things, I feel like a 2-year-old. And I feel like that is kind of like the trend that's really in. I saw it on Zimmerman. I don't mind this Zimmerman version of it because the waistline goes down so low and then the poofing is like kind of lower on the hips. Kind of like the way that they did this better, but a lot of the brands are doing it more like Christian Siriano did in this image, that everything is just like very voluminous. So imagine like Ariana Grande style, that everything, like, you know how she usually wears like those baby doll dresses that are really puffy on the bottom? That's like a huge trend. I don't really like this trend. I also don't love rouging on dresses. It depends on where it's rouged, but when you get like those gathered up dresses, sometimes they feel very uncomfortable for me. I don't feel like they flatter the silhouette unless it's rouging like around the bodice area to kind of maybe not show stomach imperfections. But other than that, rouging is not my favorite. I don't think I'm going to be on board with this trend. I probably will not buy anything this poofy. Most likely. Okay, so number 6 is actually really funny. This is funny. This is a trend that I honestly would not have expected to come back, but it looks like the maxi skirts are back. But we're not talking about bohemian maxi skirts that have been in for years and everybody loves those bohemian skirts. We're talking about more of like the 1999, 2000s maxi skirts that were the straight skirts. Do you guys remember these? I remember it more like the Hot Topic skirts. You remember like everybody would wear them with like black, and it was like the black skirts, and then they would wear the platform shoes. Like it was kind of like a thing. Okay, so we saw brands like Chanel introducing this, which, you know, if Chanel is introducing this, it has to be pretty in, but we also seen it with cutouts on the Chanel runway, which is also a huge trend, which you guys are going to see. But if you look at the silhouette of the skirt, these are not your typical maxi skirts. These are more A-line skirts. They go straight down right above where your shoe is. So this is going to be the style. Tory Burch also had a very similar style in this skirt. Everything is going to be a little bit more A-line. So when you think of maxi skirts going into spring of 2022, think more of like that ode to the 2000s, a little bit more straight, not really voluminous or your typical maxi skirt that you always buy that looks more bohemian. Think more Y2K, and this was one that was interesting, and I can see mainstream brands really picking this up and like this becoming a hot trend because it's so easy to redo, just kind of like the cardigans. So number 7 is one that's interesting because you would think that this would be more of a fall trend, but it seems like they're going to really be incorporating a lot of sparkle, embellishments, and pearls going into the spring. So if you thought pearls were out of style, I know pearls have been like kind of like one of those things that they're in style, they're out of style, but they're always kind of classic, if you know what I mean. These are my Monica Vinader ones, so I'm going to be pulling these out a lot more. But it looks like pearls are going to be here for a very, very long time. Actually, sequin dresses have been showing up a lot, and I really just thought that it was because of New Year's, but I continue to see the sequin. It's like not going away, and it seems like they want to keep sequin throughout the summer. So get ready to see a lot of more sequin dresses and embellished tops. So I did see a few examples of this type of sparkle and embellishment. If you look at the Chanel runways, this top was just like entirely embellished. So it's a top with a bunch of different things on it. I mean, like making things look like very artsy. Rodarte also did a full-on sequin on their dresses, so different colors, a lot of sequin. If we go back to where the skirt was from Chanel, you guys can see like on the detail of the skirt, it looks like it has these chains, which are very, very Y2K 2000s. Look at those chains. Those belly chains are probably coming back, but those are all done with pearls. So it's a very interesting thing. Just get ready to see a lot more embellishments and pearls and sequin, and it's not really going away. And if anything, it's going to get a little bit more exaggerated coming into the spring. All right, so this is one that I introduced to you guys in the fall of 2022. They were trying to make this a thing. And I think that maybe it didn't like land that well, and they said, well, let's continue it to spring of 2022 and let's see if we land some people to wear this, because I really don't like this trend. So this is cat suits. Now, I feel like cat suits are just so difficult if you really think about it. They are full-length bodysuits that are very skin tight. Rodarte was one of the brands that really showed a lot of cat suits, I believe, for the fall. Now, this one, if you guys can see, is a little bit more edgy. You got one leg exposed, one full-on suit, but I did see more people mentioning cat suits. I believe that this might be something you might see more Instagram bloggers wearing, maybe full-on cat suits with a blazer on top. So I think that the way that we can accomplish that without buying a cat suit, because I feel like cat suits are just like, you know, you can save it for Halloween. You can accomplish this with just wearing like very tight spandex bodysuit and wearing very tight leggings with it so that it kind of looks like a cat suit. You can put an embellished chain around it because we know embellishments are in, and throw on an oversized blazer. You kind of got the idea of a cat suit going, but you don't have to go out and buy a cat suit. So I don't think that this is particularly like a trend that you need to buy the cat suit. You can kind of recreate it in your wardrobe, but it's more about very tight form-fitting one-piece outfit. Not really like your standard jumpers that are a little bit more loose-fitted. This is like very tight. So just think very, very tight, skin tight, skin tight. This reminds me more of like 80s wear than anything, but it's very weird. I'm not really a huge fan of this. Maybe I can make it work, but I'm not like in love with this. All right, so number 9 is one that I hated when this first started, but I have learned to like this trend, and if anything, I kind of like it a lot more now. So this is cutouts, and cutouts are here to stay. Cutouts have been here to stay for a while. I think brands really love cutouts, and I think people really love cutouts. But the cutouts are getting more cut out, like very cut out, and I'm almost thinking like here in Miami, pretty soon people are gonna walk around naked. Our clothes is already very cut out, and this is like the extreme of cutout. So I don't even know what they're gonna sell in the stores here. It's probably gonna be like one piece of fabric and then everything exposed. Like, I just feel like it's so exaggerated. But anyways, Chanel showed this with cutouts on the side. This is a very elegant way to wear a cutout. I do love the way that Chanel did this, but just keep in mind that things are going to be exposed still. Christian Siriano did a really cool like peekaboo cutout. I just bought a dress from H&M that did something very similar with embellishments. That it's very, very cool. It's strategically placed cutout, so you are showing skin, but it doesn't feel like too much. And then Valentino did a little bit more of a nod to like the 2000s with a very, very short hemline and the cutout with almost like something that looks like a halter top. So these are all different examples of cutouts, but oof, I saw dresses that were extremely cut out and exposed, very exposed. It's like a huge circle like around the hip area, almost showing your entire hip as a cutout. you're talking about a lot of cutouts. So just get ready. You're probably gonna see everything with skin showing. And the last trend that I'm going to share with you guys is mini skirts, okay? So mini skirts are coming over the knee, under the knee, a little bit more tight silhouettes, but never so short. Short skirts had kind of disappeared for a while until now. I feel like we're going to start seeing very short skirts coming back. I believe you'll probably start seeing it in the spring. Probably by the summer, you're going to be seeing more of like that ode to the 2000s skirts. I'm seeing a lot of mini skirts. And even the mini skirts with the little slits on the side. If you guys lived in the 2000s and you were like into fashion like me, you probably had every skirt that had slits in the sides. Those are going to be super in again too. So just get ready to see like the slitted skirts, mini skirts, short skirts. Uggs were kind of in again, which I just bought myself another pair of Uggs. I haven't had Uggs in so long. That's very Kristen Cavallari type of time. Short skirts with the Uggs. I think that is coming back. Uggs are already back in style. Short skirts are coming back in style. This is going to be real 2000s fashion, guys. And I think that I can get into a skirt. I can get into a mini skirt because I'm 5'3". So for me, mini skirts do flatter my height a little bit better, but I've got to start putting some serious tanning on these legs because, I mean, we saw the mini skirt in Valentino. If you guys even see this dress is on a very short hemline. The mini skirt is back. Valentino also did this with just a white mini skirt with an embellished top, which are two trends. It's also in white. And then finally, this last one from Valentino is also kind of like a ode to the 90s, 1999 style with the shorter hemline and also the black and the embellishment and the see-through. But I think we're going to see a lot of this, and I believe that this will become a very strong trend because it is so easy to recreate and wear. And yeah, so that rounds out my top 10 trends that I saw like in a bunch of different shows that I saw people already talking about that I can picture are going to be so easy to recreate and do. Another one that I think is coming though, and I want to tell you guys about accessories, are bows. Okay, I've been seeing bows everywhere, and these are like oversized bows. I'm going to link the one that I have here on my head down below because it came in a pack from Amazon and they are beautiful. They're like silky bows, but they're like oversized. They fall really nice on the head and they don't look like little kid bows. They're more flat. They're very pretty. I'm going to show you guys the whole set. Hold on. All right, so this is the whole set. So I bought them from Amazon, like I said, and it came with all of these. So if you guys can see the bow itself, they're like really big bows, and because they're like a silky fabric, they fall on the head so they don't stick up. So I really like the way that these look. So you can kind of like decorate your head with them. They look so pretty. They have them in the pink, and then they came in gray, they came in red, and it also came in this color here and the black that I have on my head. And they were super inexpensive. Got them from Amazon. I will link them down below. They'll also be on my Amazon store. But I think that these are very cool. And if you have a kid, if this goes out of style quickly, you can also use it for your kids, so it's kind of like multi-use. But I love it. I think it's a very cute trend, and I saw it starting at the end of the fall. I'm sure this is going to pick up for spring, so definitely say get into some bows. Definitely get yourself some pearls. You're probably going to start seeing the belly chains come back. Platform shoes are going to be in. Not really a huge fan of those. Bigger platforms, very 2000s. And also, I think Uggs are going to be back in style by the time the summer and the fall roll around. We're probably going to see more Uggs coming out. But yeah, that is all I have for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys took some nice little inspiration of what you can start looking out for. Maybe add a few little details to your wardrobes just to make yourself a little bit more freshened up, but not to change out your whole wardrobe, just to add little pieces here and there. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video.